Mr. Investor, welcome back to the channel, baby. You guys are wondering if I'm still holding Bionano Genomics. I am. I've still got all of my shares. I increased it a lot. I went all in after I sold Occidental Petroleum. Today's going to be a great video. Make sure you stick around to the end. I've also announced that I now have a new partner for the channel. This partnership is with Seeking Alpha, so I've got an affiliate link here. So with Seeking Alpha, you have lots of different articles popping up. You have trending analysis, trending news. There are in fact updates on Bionano Genomics and articles written about Bionano Genomics on there. You'll be able to see the summary page, ratings, financials, earnings, if there's any dividends, valuation, growth, profitability. Everything that you need is on here on Seeking Alpha. And the big deal is it's only $99, so it's usually $239, I think, for a year's subscription. With my link, it's only $99. I'm only going to have it, I think, for about a week or 2 weeks. So make sure you sign up and enjoy it while it lasts. It is an affiliate link, so I do receive a small commission from it. So just letting you guys know. Whatever my opinions are, they do not reflect Seeking Alpha. They're my own opinions as an entertainment channel only. Okay, let's get it started. So let's talk about Cisco Trader finding some jobs popping up at the University of Manchester here in the UK. The position is for a research associate in genomic bioinformatics. The contract starts for 2 years from the 1st of April this year. So this is with Manchester University's NHS Foundation Trust, the National Health Service, the University of Manchester, one of its partners. So now they're talking about the post, the job description. They said the post holder will work closely with clinicians and researchers using different technologies to determine the causes of rare conditions. And now they are applying for newer approaches, including RNA sequencing, methylation analysis to complement genome sequencing. The new funding is likely to enable establishing of new platforms such as long-read sequencing and optical genome scanning. Damn, I didn't know they were going to spend a dime on us. Now moving on, we've seen lots of publications talking about how optical genome mapping has the potential to replace classic cytogenetic tests. We've seen many different publications. We've seen lots of different articles from different websites posting on it. There's been multi-center research studies. They've illustrated how optical genome mapping can potentially result in more patients qualifying for treatments in leukemia. Way back in 2021 in August, they were looking also at blood cancers and how optical genome mapping can help in that. And they were saying, in conclusion, the excellent concordance of optical genome mapping with diagnostic standard assays demonstrates its potential to replace the classical cytogenetic tests, as well as to rapidly map novel leukemia drivers. A few articles that popped up recently was that we had a deal with NVIDIA, and now I started to look at the marketplace and see, where does artificial intelligence sit in genomics? Because there's so much data analysis and so much data here, AI in genomics market is set to hit 9.99 billion, basically 10 billion by 2030, according to Grand View Research. So stated that, there's been increased investments and hyper focus on personalized medication. They've looked at the growth of telemedicine as well. But they also stated that AI has near endless potential applications in the field of genomics, and it's already starting to revolutionize health. There's a figure as well. AI in cancer diagnostics market. The global artificial intelligence in cancer diagnostics market is expected to reach $996 million by 2030, according to Grand View. They said there's a rising prevalence of cancer and growing demand for the early detection of the condition, which will be one of the main key factors that is driving the market. Bionano Genomics and NVIDIA have now got a partnership. Take a look at this. This was on NVIDIA's website, talking about how artificial intelligence is transforming genomics and unlocking new possibilities in genome sequencing workflows. They were talking about this explosion of bioinformatics data, and they said an estimated 40 exabytes, I didn't even know this word existed, exabytes, will be required to store all human genome data by 2025. So in terms of scale, they said, as a reference here, it's 8 times more storage than would be required to store every spoken word in history. Damn, people talk a lot. One of the things I've currently been investigating with Bionano Genomics, I really wanted to dig deep into this because, so there's something coming called newborn screening, right? And now with the kind of NHS plan or England's plan for genomics, Genome UK 2022 to 2025, this 3-year plan where they plan to implement, genomics into the NHS. Stated here that it's £105 million for landmark research program. This is going to be led by the body called Genomics England that is in partnership with our National Health Service. So they want to study how effective is whole genome sequencing in speeding up diagnosis and treating rare diseases in newborns. So rare genetic diseases. So they're saying this could potentially lead to saving a lot of lives for these kids, for these babies. That's £105 million. They developed this genomic medicine service. So in the UK, They said 55 million people here, 55 million people in England. And what they plan to do is sequence about 500,000 genomes, whole genomes, by 2023 to 2024. And they want to transform healthcare for maximum patient benefit, including for children who have cancer or children who are very ill with likely genetic disorders. So people are wondering, genetic disorders is kind of rare. It's actually not that rare collectively. And the reason why they're targeting it is because they go on this diagnostic odyssey. So they go around, they're looking, what's wrong with me? Why am I always ill? They're always presenting with symptoms in hospital. And, with current techniques, they're trying to put their finger on it. Like, what is the reason? Why do they keep coming back to hospital? It's costing a lot of money. It's a lot of stress, a lot of hassle for them to not know what is the cause of their illness. Moving forward, it will bleep my face here, but Bionano Genomics, back in 2022 in February, they said that they were targeting and looking at rare undiagnosed genetic disease, RUGD, and they had a strategy to aim around about 350 million people that are living with rare disease. So this is on a global scale. There's 350 million people that are struggling, living with rare disease. And going back here, I'm back in the screen. There was a report that came out from Imperial College Health Partners, and they stated that there was a 10-year analysis where they followed some patients, and they said the costs was in excess of £3.4 billion. That's how much it cost the NHS to try and figure out, what was wrong with these patients. They said, they were undiagnosed, they had rare disease, and they followed and analyzed a cohort of 258,235 patients that were diagnosed with rare disease during a 12-month period. And they focused on their hospital visits, their activity, and they looked at it for the prior 10 years. So the 10 years before. These were some other interesting statistics. So this is Ideas for Change, National Center for Advancing Translational Sciences. They were speaking about rare disease too. And look at these costs. This is insane. They said based on Eversana cost data, the total yearly direct medical costs for people in the United States with rare diseases may reach $400 billion per year. And they said that is similar to and rivals the direct medical costs for cancer, for heart failure, for Alzheimer's disease. The long diagnostic odysseys result in irreversible disease progression and ongoing high medical costs. So they said the earlier the better for them to, diagnose it and then start treatment. So I think that's why they're looking at newborn screening. That's why they're looking at rare disease. Apparently, in terms of rare disease, 80% of rare diseases have a genetic origin. 80% of them. One of the press releases recently from Bionano Genomics was Mayer-Rokitansky-Kuster-Hauser syndrome. The disorder affects about 1 in 4,000 to 5,000 women in the general population, and it's the second most common cause of primary amenorrhea. Amenorrhea is defined as the absence of menstruation, often defined as missing one or more menstrual periods, and it refers to the absence of menstruation in someone who has not had a period by the age of 15. You can also have all of these other symptoms as well: acne, pelvic pain, excess facial hair, vision changes, headache, hair loss, discharge. So on a general population scale, 1 in every 4,000 to 5,000 people will suffer with that. That's a lot of people potentially we could help there with optical genome mapping. Speaking of optical genome mapping, over in Oxford Brookes University, there are 2 academics. We have Dr. Sam Clokey, a visiting researcher, Department of Biological and Medical Sciences. He's going to participate in various sequencing and optical genome mapping projects active in the molecular genetics of eye development team. And so is Miss Kartika Jagannathan. She's a research assistant from the Department of Biological and Medical Sciences, and she's also looking at various sequencing and optical genome mapping projects active in the molecular genetics of the eye development team. Make sure you continue to follow up and look at Bionano Genomics press releases. There's a lot that's been coming out recently, especially with prenatal and postnatal analysis. So the launch of these laboratory developed tests from Bionano Laboratories. I was having a little read up, and in terms of, the SVB bank collapsing, Silicon Valley Bank, and all of the stress that lots of people were going through there, Bionano Genomics and its affiliates actually had about $2.1 million in the accounts with SVB. But the FDIC said that it will pay uninsured depositors an advance dividend within the next week, so their assets, their funds should be safe. I was also exploring and reading up on, the ATM facility and the selling of securities about $400 million worth. And I was trying to think and take a look at, what other facilities they have: common stock, preferred stock, debt securities, warrants. And I'm thinking, how will they raise capital in order to continue the current growth rate? Because they're burning a lot of cash at the moment. We're taking a look at the news as well. On March the 13th, there was an article out here, and I think Illumina flew up like 15% or 20% on the day. It just flew up like crazy. That's because Carl Icahn was very interested and he wanted to actually help Illumina with its takeover attempt of Grail. So what he said he's going to do is he knows a few people and he wants to appoint some members to the board that will help them with the Grail acquisition. As it says here, ICANN plans to nominate 3 people to Illumina's boards, saying that it could help resolve the company's attempted takeover of Grail. Also out of Germany in February 2023, so just recently, they were talking also about Bionano Genomics optical genome mapping, and they were saying that how it has the potential to replace older techniques. So as we can see, there's so many different researchers, there's so many different projects going on, and they're all coming out with saying it has this huge potential, especially for blood cancers and these types of cancers like AML, acute myeloid leukemia. If you managed to make it this far, please hit me with a thumbs up, hit me with a like, subscribe. I've still got a few more points to show you, which are very important, so don't click out the video yet. If you wanted to sign up to Seeking Alpha, the link is in my description box below. It's $99 for a whole year, so it's not $239, $99. And it's going to be coming through me. It's an affiliate link and I'm a partner of them. You'll be helping out the channel. I will receive a little commission as well. And you'll be able to screen the market and access all of this data, all of these different articles that are popping up. You can see here 1 hour ago, 1 hour ago, 2 hours ago. They're constantly releasing articles. Now for me, this is the most interesting point of this video. Yeah, I wanted to take a look at this because I've been digging deep into this and seeing, is this going to happen? It was questions, lots of questions. Will Bionano Genomics be involved in this kind of newborn screening? Because they were talking about whole genome sequencing, and screening, and helping out children that way, 100,000 newborns. The Newborn Genomes Program is going to screen for around about 200 rare but treatable genetic conditions. There's 105 million pounds what they're investing into this screening program to leave voluntary, so they can volunteer their babies. And the study would see 1 in 12 newborn babies in England screened on a voluntary basis over 2 years. They're saying whole genome sequencing, they're saying this is the technique they're going to be using. Is mostly probably going to be with Illumina. An older video with Eric Topol, yeah? So I sent this guy an email, and this guy is an American cardiologist, and the NHS actually uses him to consult them on, updating the NHS in terms of artificial intelligence, digitalizing it, and also with genomics. Eric Topol is saying, the heel prick is long overdue to be obsolete. And he's stating, old videos, he said, yes, times 3, because I asked him about short read sequencing, long read sequencing, and optical genome mapping. And I'll say, will these be utilized in newborn screening? Will they be utilized in the NHS? And he said yes to all 3. The video up here, if I can, in a little box, so you can watch it back if you want to. What's even more interesting is over in Belgium as well. There's a PhD position that's popped up, and it's talking about the opportunities of optical genome mapping and long read sequencing and how they want to use it in cytogenomic diagnosis in lymphoma. So if you scroll all the way down, you'll see that what they will need is strong English skills, because they'll be working with interacting with partners from the International Working Group for clinical implementation of optical genome mapping. Yes, optical genome mapping in hematological malignancies, blood cancers. So these are 13 scientists from 9 renowned institutions. Now, the most interesting point, what I was saying about newborn screening as well, was that we found out the other day, Investor Place picked up on this, that Professor Paul Dimitri, this is a professor who is from Sheffield Hallam University in the UK. He was talking about genomic discoveries, additional omics data, and advances such as optical genome mapping have driven rapid improvements in the precision and speed of diagnosis of diseases in children. They're now being incorporated into newborn screening. So this guy works within the UK, works within, the university system. He's a professor, and he said it's being utilized already. It's being worked now being incorporated into newborn screening. I found an older document. I wanted to see who's in charge of this newborn screening, yeah? So the Newborn Genomes Program, NHS steering group. The chair is someone called Sarah Jane Marsh. And where is she from? She is the CEO of Birmingham Women's and Children's NHS Foundation Trust. Now, in February 2, 2022, Bionano Genomics announced its UK footprint expansion, where there's 2 genetic laboratory hubs within the United Kingdom's National Health Service that adopted the Sapphire system. And one of those was the Birmingham Women and Children's NHS Foundation Trust. So she's the CEO of this place, and she's also the chair of the newborn screening program. So if all goes well, look, what they intended to do initially was to utilize the Sapphire system to evaluate optical genome mapping against the traditional cytogenetic methods they had. So Professor Paul Dimitri said it's already being utilized. We can see here the CEO is of Birmingham Women and Children's NHS Foundation Trust, who have a Sapphire system, is also the chairwoman for the Newborn Genomes Program NHS steering group. Also wanted to look at the white papers. So there's a white paper series on Bionano Genomics website where you can look at these. They were talking about large structural variants, and they always pitch it that large structural variants are going to be a key to unlocking a new phase of innovation within genomics. In terms of large structural variants as well, it says here that structural variants make up the majority of human genomic variation. So there's insertions, deletions, duplications, translocations, inversions. These events drive the genetic diversity among individuals and populations. In terms of the size in megabase pairs, it's estimated that every individual harbors a median of 18 megabase pairs of structural variants per diploid genome. On the website called genome.gov, when you look at a megabase, it's 1 million bases. So a megabase, MB, is a unit of measurement used to help designate the length of DNA. 1 megabase is equivalent to 1 million bases. Tell me if I'm correct in this. This is from my understanding that Bionano Genomics can see huge amounts of data here. On another website, it says megabase pair, abbreviated MBP, a unit of length of nucleic acids equal to 1 million base pairs. So just to finish off, I wanted to remind you guys that currently it looks like they're targeting cancer and rare disease by nanogenomics so far, particularly hematological malignancies, blood cancers. The market in 2021 was worth around $3.37 billion US, and it's said to be constantly expanding. They released articles in 2022, this international working group recommendations for the implementation of optical genome mapping in these blood cancers. They're saying that OGM is becoming rapidly adopted as a first-line test for genome structural variation assessment in clinical genetics laboratories worldwide. The National Working Group includes these 13 scientists from 9 renowned institutions from 5 countries, from Canada, USA, Netherlands, Belgium, and Spain, and they're leading the implementation of optical genome mapping in their laboratories and are collaborating on a global standards for the assessment of hematological malignancies. Bionano Genomics also has partners around the world. Some of them are at Trio Lab. So you can see here there's people in Estonia, in Latvia, and Lithuania, and they're pitching also to try and sell the Sapphire system throughout Europe. In terms of acquisition of, Illumina going to acquire Grail is because they said there's a new era of cancer detection, and they will really want to launch this, and they really want to help in terms of multi-cancer early detection blood tests, enhancing patient access, expanding global reach, and helping in terms of outcomes. Now, finally, I'm going to finish off by saying thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your concerns are. I know we're trying to figure out a way. We don't know how they're creatively going to raise money for capital to make sure we don't run out of cash. We're waiting for revenue still to push up by quite a bit because we were thinking, adoption would be slightly faster than it is now. It looks like it's on its way. Okay, we're going to finish up for today. Thank you so much for watching. Wishing you guys all the best. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Please also remember, none of this is financial advice, is for entertainment only. Thank you to everybody that supports the channel. Thank you to our channel members. Thank you to everybody that sent me donations before as well. It really helps out. So I really love and appreciate you guys. If you guys want to sign up to Seeking Alpha, just click the link in the description box below. $99 instead of $239. So bargains, savings there. Enjoy it. And finally, let's see how this works out, because right now we're waiting on lots of things to be implemented in the NHS. I don't know how long it's going to take, and I don't know where they are and what stage of, how much progress they've made and in what stage they are in terms of adoption, in terms of implementing, optical genome mapping in newborn screening. Obviously, we have the article there where someone said, the professor has said, Paul Dimitri, it's already being utilized. But in terms of, will we have this as mandatory newborn screening? I don't think so. Eric Topol said he doesn't think so as well, because he thinks that we'll have this anti-genomic community if we force people to be screened for disease. Also, what will they be screening for? Because usually they'd only screen for things that we can help with. Because what's the use of you knowing that you're going to be sick and there's nothing we can do about it? It's just going to cause people stress, anxiety. As new treatments come in place and as they develop, personalized medicine, gene therapies, stuff like that, I think we're going to have a lot more people who are going to uptake newborn screening and lots of kind of genomic sequencing and optical genome mapping tests. For now, we just have to hope Bionano Genomics can continue growing to try and boost their revenues, cut down on their cash burn, find creative ways not to dilute shareholders and try and raise capital without putting himself at risk. And that's what we're waiting on. So I'm wishing you a good evening. I hope you had a great weekend, and I hope you have a great week ahead. This video with a thumbs up. I went into so much effort, so much research just to open all of these tabs and take a look and screen the internet and read through documents. Please hit me with a thumbs up, hit me with subscribe, drop me some comments down below, and I'll catch you in the next video. Mr. Invest a Lot, over and out, baby.